For instance, I did a size search for home inspection. I think a lot of people would think of the technical things that come around the concept of home inspection, but the very first word that comes up is communication. And accomplishment, transaction, yes. Consumption, mathematics, technician, communicate, appointment. And as you saw Peter using the mind map, you can put those words and what Peter calls a word bank into different conjunctions so that it stimulates your creativity about what you're writing about. So something as non-technical, as it were, as home inspection, there's really a lot of wordplay that you can use to write about it. What happens in that regard is that search engines, and Google in particular, sees the relevancy between the words. It has seen, Bill Slawski calls co-occurrence, in between those words and among the cluster of words in other situations. So one of the reasons that I find CISE very helpful in creating text for the web is that it does spark the imagination to think about new ways of presenting material.
So you use this program?
I do, and I've been using it all along through its various permutations. And so what I loved about CISE from the very beginning was the ability to use those word collections to instantly create new concepts around a central concept. Peter's just come up with a mind map, and I like how it visually represents how the words cluster together. And when you click on one of those related words, there are even more words that create a relationship around that single word. So from a writer's perspective, it gives you a lot of opportunity for creative ways of writing about, say, something as what some people would consider mundane, home inspections, very necessary part of the real estate market and real estate transactions, but very technical in many ways. But I've also written about high-end luxury traveling the same way. So with completely different sets of words. And in that instance, we reduced the bounce rate from 89% to, generally speaking, on an average, somewhere between 17 and 19%. So I was just sort of an immediate CISE convert in that regard. It was like, oh my gosh, this is just astounding, because people were coming before that, in that particular case, people were coming to look at the pretty pictures, and they weren't really staying there to read or connect in any way with the business itself. So what happened was, not only the bounce rate reduced, but the dwell time was increased quite a bit, because all of a sudden people were not just looking at the pretty pictures, they were actually reading the text and thinking about what was offered on the website. So I find that CISE is a very powerful tool. And as a writer and a creative writer, I just think it's total fun. I have a lot of fun with it. What is that one unique, wonderful thing that is the metaphor that people will always remember about that business?